This middleweight contest is scheduled for 3 rounds of 5 minutes each. And your referee for this fight, Mr. Steve Percival. It's that time for combat! Fighting out of the blue corner, this man stands at 177 centimeters tall and weighs in at 79 kilograms. He may be a newcomer to the MMA scene, but he has already earned a reputation as a tough, all-round fighter. This judo black belt holder has also recently defeated China's national Sanda champion with a pro MMA record of 1 win and 2 losses, and fighting out of Sairui MMA from Los Angeles, California, USA, it's Isamu Himura! Fighting out of the red corner, trained in the USA and earned his stripes as a top wrestler with explosive takedowns. He stands at 174 centimeters tall and weighs in at 73 kilograms. With a professional MMA record of 3 wins, 2 losses, and 1 draw, Singapore, proudly put your hands together for the man known as the Polar Bear, Brian Choi!
Brian Choi getting some big support from this crowd in Singapore. He fights out of the Evolve Gym and has had over 100 wrestling contests, and he's taking on a fighter in Isamu Himura, who took this fight at short notice. Right? That's always difficult.
Yeah, Isamu stepping in for neophyte champion Du Wan Seo. Got his cards stacked against him. Brian Choi, a blue belt under Gordino, training with Chatri Sityatong, world-class striking instructor. It's always no guts, no glory though, right?
Well, that's what they say. Isamu is a judo and karate specialist. Fancies himself as a bit of a boxer as well, so let's see how we go.
I'm a bit familiar with Isamu. He spent a little bit of time at Tiger Muay Thai as a guest in my MMA program. While in Los Angeles, trained under Gokar, Carl Parisian. Black belt in judo, but we'll see how he gets on tonight, taking this fight on such short notice.
Well, Brian Choi is stockily built, solidly muscular through the torso. Managed to evade that sweeping left hook by just leaning back a fraction. Usually the sign of a man who is very aware in the ring.
Good aggressive strikes by Isamu, but a quality takedown there by Brian, controlling top position. Isamu trying to work that rubber guard, so popularized by Eddie Bravo in the 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu. He's got a triangle slash armbar attempt here, but Brian showing Gordino's world-class jiu-jitsu, just postures himself back inside, out of danger now.
Isamu gets his left hand over Brian's head, trying to attempt the headlock there. They maneuver themselves to the cage, where we've said before, there's always the chance of gaining a little bit more leverage to work yourself into a more advantageous position.
Brian looking for the high crotch slam here. He's worked his way back up. Looks like he's going to take Isamu back down, though, with a good double leg attempt here. Isamu trying to sit his hips, trying to work around the body, trying to stabilize position. What he needs to do is he needs to try to pummel his arms inside. He needs to try to push his head off of his hip. See him working a bit of a cross-face attempt here, which is the right idea.
He's trying to lift him up and then slam Isamu down. That's what he's doing, and that's what he achieved. It was a heavy blow for Isamu to take.
Good wrestling technique by the Evolve assistant wrestling instructor. Isamu here locking on a Kimura, but from the half guard, it's going to be hard to finish this. It's possible, but it's not an easy submission to finish from this position. He needs to try to get back into his full guard, or he needs to try to work his way back up. I'd be really surprised if he was able to accomplish this submission, specifically being in the corner of the Evolve coaches. It's going to make it even more difficult.
So Isamu, you're saying trying to work on Brian's left arm there and try and get a submission out of that?
Yeah, very similar to an old school bully submission where that guy grabs that arm and he puts it up behind your back, raises it up behind your shoulder blade and up behind your head until you say uncle.
Will we hear the shout of uncle here?
As I said, Brian's doing a good job of stabilizing the position. Here he can grab his own shorts. There's nothing wrong with grabbing his own shorts. As long as he's not grabbing Isamu's shorts, you're allowed to control the position.
That arm being put under so much strain. Locked in by Isamu's left and then pushed with the right. See how he's gripping his own wrist there, Isamu, to get as much pressure down on that arm as he can, but he's escaped free of it. So now we see Brian in a slightly better position, freeing that arm. What can he do?
Brian controlling the underhook again with that right arm. Isamu trying to use that lockdown position, but Brian posturing his leg up. He's going to look to try to drive down to the half guard, drive to the mount, which he's able to establish here. Isamu, if he's not careful, is going to give his back.
6, 7 punches coming in there. Weren't really the heaviest blows you've seen. Not quite glancing blows either. He just couldn't get the full reach in.
Good attempt at a throw there by Isamu. Obviously, that's a lot harder no-gi than it is with the gi. Isamu taking this fight on short notice.
Oh. That's the heaviest way to fall to the ground, with your opponent's body weight right on top of you as you slam to the canvas.
Now what Isamu needs to do is he needs to work that left elbow down to the mat. If he's able to work that elbow down to the mat, he could actually take the back from this position. Obviously with no underhook, he's got one of the outside hooks established. Just needs to keep working himself before he can establish that second hook. Now he has the back of Brian. Brian needs to be careful here. That headlock is not going to maintain position. Isamu safely on the back now, looking for the rear naked choke, folks. This here is an advantageous position.
What a turnaround. And
good
another
reversal.
one.
Good reversal by the Evolve fighter, showing good composure in the corner of Gordino, listening to his expert advice from his coach. Again, these Evolve coaches, some of the top coaches in the world, not just in Singapore, but throughout the world for that matter.
Well, some top floor work by both of these guys as we enter the final 10 seconds of the round. It's been a cracking contest on the canvas. Some great reversals and fully deserved to come out of this round for their 1 minute's rest, both fighters. Who would you say was on top given the full 5 minutes rest?
I'd definitely give the points to Brian. Brian Choi dictated where the match took place, establishing the takedowns, passing the guard. He did have his back taken by Isamu, and a strong round considering the fact that Isamu took this fight on such short notice. But I would have that as a strong 10-9 round for Brian Choi.
Yeah, let's not forget that Isamu did take this fight on short notice, and as this fight goes on, it may be that his conditioning makes it more and more difficult for him. Ray mentioned a 10-9 round. If you just edge around, that's the score you'll get. If you are more dominant, 10-8, and then rarely a 10-7 round. If you can't separate the fighters, the judges will score the round 10-10. There's 3 judges at ringside. And at the end of the fight, if there's no stoppages, the points will be added up, and the judge's decision will be final.
And you see the relaxed conversation by Shatru Sityodtong, giving him his expert advice. Basically, I think they're telling him, hey, we won the match on the mat. You know, let's not hesitate to bring this back down. Isamu looked like he was throwing some heavy strikes from on the feet. But overall, Brian was able to dictate the pace of that round by controlling position.
Second round is underway. Brian Choi, we think, edged the first round. He's on the right of your screen, wearing the red gloves.
Good
blue
left
gloves, hook. Isamu Himura.
Good left hook by Isamu. Isamu looks to have the stronger of the two as far as punching power. Whether or not that equates to technique is yet to be seen.
Well, Isamu threw a really lazy right hand there, and it was so lazy that Choi was able to grasp it and pull him round towards the cage. There was no crispness to that punch at all, and that made maybe a sign of his conditioning.
Good tie clinch here by Isamu, but Brian quickly transitions into that double leg takedown. Clinching around the waist here, he's going to look to elevate, dump into that side control position. World-class takedown shown there.
And you could see Isamu grimacing as he landed on the canvas. It was another heavy fall to the floor. The referee just encouraging them to get to work on the floor there.
What I'd like to see Isamu do is try to let go of that guillotine choke. It's not going to have much effect once he's already past your side control. Work yourself back up, using that fence as an opportunity to posture your body against a base. He's back into his half guard here, which is a bit better than where he was at. He's looking for the old school sweep, which is going to be difficult to get from this position.
Jammed up against the fence there on the other side of the ring from our commentary position. The entanglement of legs, difficult to see which limb belongs to which fighter.
Brian now looking to work a Kimura of his own. He's got that arm tight up against his back. The fence might come into a play. Isamu able to work his way back up and reversal right into the half guard position. Good reversal by Isamu, capitalizing off of that submission attempt.
I didn't like the look of the way Choi's right leg was positioned as he fell to the canvas there. Could have done some damage in the very complex knee area.
Choi back into his full guard here. I'm sure more than competent from his full guard. Having worked with Gordinho, obviously this guy's going to have some sort of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, holding the rank of blue belt.
And a chance for Isamu to rain some punches down. There's been 6 or 7, but Brian trying to tie him up to prevent those punches from coming down. No damage done, as you can see. Very clear face Choi has, no cuts, no bumps or bruises evident just yet. But certainly is in a position to take a few with his back on the canvas. Watch how he uses those red gloves of his to try and tie up the hands of Isamu to nullify the punching.
Now Brian going for the leg, trying to reverse position, maybe a foot lock here. It's kind of hard to see from our angle here at the commentator's booth. But Isamu doing a good job of staying on top, controlling the outside feet. Good takedown by Brian.
Again, the corner men just inches away from their fighters. Can you really hear what's being said there, Ray, when you're being hammered by the other guy?
Well, a good fighter always tries to listen to his corner as best as he can. That's one of the things when you take a fight on short notice. You know, if you've been working with your coach and you've been listening to your coach, it makes it a lot easier. Brian dictating position here, but being reversed by Isamu, maybe a bit too hasty to control the top position, the mounted position, giving up the sweep and the reversal.
Well, again, right in on the action there. Our camera person inches away from these two fighters.
Isamu working down those right forearm strikes from here. Good position. This is an even round in my books. I mean, Isamu so far has been able to pass guard, he's been able to reverse, he's been able to maintain dominant positions. Brian needs to work, use his feet to get out of this position, put him on the fence. Now mounted by Isamu, but scrambles back to his feet, folks.
We're seeing some quality reversals in this contest. And Isamu reluctant to get up. We've seen this several times before in martial combat. A fighter happy to be on his back with his feet up there, looking for an opportunity.
I think this comes into an issue of cardio. Isamu looks to be breathing deep, looks to be struggling to get back up to his feet. I'm sure he's using that as an opportunity to breathe.
Yeah, well, good point, well made, Ray, and the referee seeing it just as you saw it. We don't want the fighters